thing. This is going to do its thing. You guys slap your little butt, so we keep slapping it because that's what it's for. Oh, yeah. And everyone's going to see the shiny shirt in a moment here as it gets ready to pop up. And shabam, there it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's episode number 738 of Houston with a Problem. It is Shiny Shirt Week day 25 today, day 25. This is a lovely one from one of you viewers. Was it Michael Mystery that sent me this one? It's got the Hogwire, the best cat in existence. And I don't know. I feel like I might be the throne room of a Babylonian king in this thing. Just get the full breadth of my Hogwire and curtains and gold. I feel so regal, and it is so smooth. I just want to like pet myself all day today. Cat's coming here to get pet, but I don't know. I'm smoother than this cat is right now. Coming up here? Yeah. I don't even know if I want to pet you. I've got myself to pet. Whoa! Don't put your claws in it. That is a faux pas, buddy. You dug your claw right into my super smooth, silky polyester shirt, you little monster. Okay. So, that out of the way. Looks like the White House throwing Hegseth under the bus. The generals and admirals are now turning against him over the whole, ordering war crimes thing. The JAG officers are basically like, yes, it was a war crime. And when the JAG officers say that, then it's pretty much a war crime. GameStop had a little more green today, a little more gamma, punched above $23. I reset the options I sold yesterday. And right before close, bought a whole bunch of 23s, about 34 23s going into Friday, thinking there might be a little more oomph. Next week is earnings. Q3 earnings is next week. So I might keep going at least until Tuesday. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I've got to pay close attention to all of that tomorrow. Because now we're getting to like faded decay territory, and that's when, it would be best if I just purchase options for next week starting tomorrow. And what's happening, kitty? Bank overnight repo facility is going bonkers. Looks like banks are trading in their mortgage-backed securities for billions of dollars overnight, and there's no liquidity left. The reverse repo facility is basically closed. They went from 2.4 trillion down to pennies now. Talk about Japanese carry trades yesterday. Japanese interest rates are still like skyrocketing. There's talk about a 25 basis point cut here in the U.S., which might not do that well. Kitty cat might not do that well simply because the European Union is basically like, hey, we're going to dump $2 to $3 trillion in U.S. bonds if you go against us on Ukraine. Which makes sense. So then there's even fewer buyers for U.S. treasuries, which would force treasuries to go up in rates, causing everything else to go up. Trying to entice those buyers in. What else? Marco Rubio is becoming the first Secretary of State to not attend the general meeting of NATO this week. And instead, we're sending a representative to go hang out with Putin. So, how is it that we're allowing our government to become pro-Russia? What the fuck is wrong with us? Seriously. Why is there no one in the House and Senate absolutely throwing a tizzy from either side over the fact that we're abandoning Europe from one of the poorest, most worst-run nations in the entire world, led by a fucking kleptocrat mafioso, and we're like, it's cool. Yeah. No, it's not cool. It's fucking terrible. So get off your ass, people in Congress, and start taking heads. That's what needs to happen. Jesus Christ, it's so... Right, kitty? Right. I'm going to pop your little skull. Scratch your head. Okay. Anyway. Is there anything else? I don't know. Let's hit the button, and then we'll do the button thing. Ready? And classic? Beep, beep. Oh, shit. Boop. There we go. Turn that one off. Ooh, the After Dark is still on. Turn that one off. There we go. Okay, so GDC says first, but technically I was first this time, but only because I had to be to tell you that you had to ignore the posted time on the video, because I went to click, like, continue. Oh yeah, it's gonna monetize. Continue, continue, and then the last screen is set the time, and for some reason the mouse double clicked and just launched the show. So here we are. Chris Taylor says Houston is first. Lol. Polestar, yo, Polestar, 0.09% gamma. Let's fucking go. Yep, just a little bit, just a pinch, just a skosh. Pico, Nano, Teddy B. Putin is 72, Trump is 79, Xi is 72, Netanyahu is 75. Why don't we focus on our children and making them nice and not a-holes instead of worrying old leaders? They won't be here in 15 years. Why do we do that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I 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 don't know why we have such old leaders. In years past, right? All these guys would be dead. They're being kept alive with statins and bypass surgeries and everything else that never would have existed. We never would have had leadership this old. And it seems like all these ancient leaders who are running everything, they're all about, let me get mine before I die, right? Oh, is that my thumb worth chewing on? Is that what that's all about? Let me get mine before I die, and fuck all y'all. So, yeah, I think we need to go back to younger, at least middle age leaders in countries that have like decades of future ahead of them, who think about like their kids growing up. And Kitty, you're in my way. Quit being in my way. And their decisions reflect that. Like, hey, I have to last another 50 years in this, so why don't I ensure there is a future? Like stuff like that. That would be good. That would be a good way to go. Teddy B, also coordinates are 35, 70, 139 for Google Street View. Okay, well, you know what? We haven't done... You guys have not sent me a coordinate in a long time here. So let's pop up the Google Earth. Let's go to scene. Let's go... Earth's up. Sweet. Let us... select that. Right-click it. Copy. Come over here. We're going to leave Ethiopia. We're going to go there. And we're going to look at that. Okay. So we're going to Japan. Are we in Japan? Okay, so I got to go here. Go down. Go Google Street View and get this little guy right there. I'm going to drop him right meow. Okay, what we got? Got a dude on a bicycle. Got a dude on a bicycle. We got blurry. A guy with a camera. We got two ladies walking. What am I looking at here? Google Street View. I have blurry monsters, so I need to go maybe take a step. Yeah. Okay. Got a truck. We got bicycle. We got lady. We got people. We got dude bent over. Pockets full of everything. Are these birders or something? Is there some like rare bird that is in a tree that I don't know about? Because that dude's got a lot of kitsch on. The other guy had a camera. What am I looking at, Teddy? I don't know. Was I one too far? Do I need to go back this way? Where the blurry people are and back once more? Okay. So we got, looks like a house under construction. We got people on a path. People walking. They're still walking. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just got a path in a crowd here. Do with the camera. What's the do with the camera looking at? It should be like a falcon or something here. I don't know. They seem very intent about what's in the old shrubbery there. Yeah. Well, there's that. That was not very fun. Teddy, you will rue the day. Okay. Monthly. Houston. I find it amazing MAGA tries to justify cause and effect between job and immigration policy, immigrants taking jobs, when AI is coming for everyone's job, though AI is junk right now. AI is coming for people's jobs, and offshoring is coming for people's jobs. And it's very easy to pass legislation sort of banning both. Like in restaurants across like grab and go restaurants now, the cashiers are being replaced by someone who lives in India on Zoom being paid $3 an hour to like do the transaction for you. You can easily say that's against the law. You easily say that self-checkout's against the law. So you have to like hire somebody who's a UFCW member to stand there. And you know what? The less self-checkout you have, the more theft control you have. So people will steal less. The last week there was a McDonald's that had an AI kiosk. You order your food, and then Cloudflare went down, and the AI didn't work, so no one could order food. And the people who like cook the food in the back are like, "Sorry, bro, we don't have our actual register anymore." So like no one could order food. Like there are people right there to make it for you. The food is there in the fridge and the freezer to be made, but because Cloudflare went down, no one could tap the buttons to order the food to be made and have a way to pay. Whereas you just have a human being who stands there and goes button push, button push, button push. That'll be $13.95, and you give them money, and then they give you food, and you're done. AI is so dumb. So dumb. I had this bonehead arguing with me all last week. There was somebody made a post about like, rich people are born from rich people. That's basically what it comes down to. Like the rich people give birth to kids who then become rich people, and most rich people came from rich people. And this guy's like, "Grok, is that true?" So I pointed out, like, buddy, you're asking the AI machine written by a rich guy who was born to a rich guy to ask you if he's rich because he was born to a rich guy. And then it went into this whole like, you just don't trust that there's a neutral source like Grok out there. I'm like, Grok isn't neutral. I pointed out how last week you could ask the Grok if Elon was better at something than somebody else. It didn't matter what it was. And Grok was programmed to tell them that Elon was the best at something. So you'd be like, hey, who is the best basketball player in the world? LeBron James or Elon Musk? And it'd be like, definitely Elon Musk. Who is the best blowjob artist, Nancy Reagan or Elon Musk? Well, Elon Musk obviously gives the best blowjobs. It didn't matter, right? And in the summer, Grok got in trouble because Elon programmed it to become a white supremacist and referred to itself as Mecha Hitler. So it's not an unbiased source. It's not just all of a sudden like, I am neutral in all things. It's being progressively programmed to be further and further right and to basically fellatiate Elon Musk at any chance it is given. And this guy's like, Grok, is that true? It's like I posted, he's like, I don't believe that the Mecha Hitler thing. I'm like, but it was 3 months ago. So I posted an article. He's like, oh, from NPR? Get a better source. So I posted one from NBC. He's like, NBC, mainstream media. So I posted one from Fox News. Oh yeah, Wall Street Journal. All saying the same thing, that Grok had become Mecha Hitler. He's like, why do you trust all these mainstream news sources? I'm like, buddy, where do you think the AI gets its information from? It's scraping the internet, right? And it's going, hey, there's 25 news articles about this one event. This is obviously what happened, right? AI is just rotting people's brains. They're just becoming dumber and dumber and dumber. There's no ability to recall information on one's own. You're using this like crutch. Remember how, those of you who are old enough, you used to have everyone's phone number memorized, right? I had all my best friends' phone numbers memorized. I had the girl I had a crush on third grade's number still up here. I had my parents' friends who we'd have to call and ask for things. I had all those phone numbers memorized. And then all of a sudden, we got these. And we just tapped the name. I have no idea what any of my friends' phone numbers are. Not a clue. Like, they tell it to me once, I punch it in the phone, and it's just gone. Because I don't use that recall information anymore. There's like part of the math brain in me that is probably wilted and died as a result of having access to just everyone's names coming in and not having to punch in their 7-digit phone number every day. So what we're becoming now is we're becoming these things who are letting the computers do all of our thinking for us. And there's something inherently evil about that, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't like it. I understand, people want leisure. Cool. But we're not going to get that out of this AI. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do all the menial, awful jobs where the robots are too expensive to build to do. And we're going to be stuck doing that while AI does the better jobs and makes the decisions for us. And we're going to be working 16-hour days, 6 days a week. And then we die at age 50 because they don't want to pay us our Social Security and anything else we earned. And that's it. And then there's going to be like this thin layer of ultra wealthy who own everything. And we're gonna go back to like a feudal peasant society. It sucks. It really does. Kitty, you are in the way of the chat again. Can you just? I should put like those. Like those. They have to put those spikes on the edges of buildings to keep the pigeons from landing there. That's what I'm gonna do on the front of my desk to keep this cat from getting in front of. Stop getting in front of the computer screen. All right. Just pile things there so you can't do anything about it. Knives and thumbtacks and stuff, Legos. You just won't be able to get in there and bother me, right? Okay. All right. Titty, who is the most underrated band that has influenced music the most, and why is it Motorhead? Well, Motorhead is fantastic. I don't know, was Motorhead ever underrated? Lemmy's awesome. I got a great picture of Monkey Butt in front of the Lemmy mural at the Rainbow Room in LA, where Lemmy would sit at the bar and play video poker all day long on the machine. There's a lot of bands out there who haven't quite gotten their just due and should have, and never quite like broke through to selling out stadiums the way they should have. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of you got your Dandy Warhols. Dandy Warhols are phenomenal. They sell out stadiums in Europe, but for some reason not in the U.S. Who else are you thinking of, Monkey? Who else absolutely just rocks your world? Glenn Danzig rocks my world. Even though he's kind of an asshole. I do think he's one of the best metal artists out there. No breathy whines. Who else? Who else can just rock? Who didn't get their just desserts? I don't know. I can't think of this stuff on the spot. Jews Miami super chats and U.S. cut military communications. Germany. Oh yeah, U.S. cut partnering with Germany and chit chatting with them. We also cut out Five Eyes, which is one of the larger intelligence collectives. We are isolating ourselves and pissing everyone off, and it's a very bad thing, Monkey Butt. It's a very bad thing. Just Iggy sends a Glenn Danzig is a weirdo. He is definitely a weirdo. One of my favorite Glenn Danzig stories is Glenn Danzig in the pile of bricks. Let's see if we can find it here. Glenn Danzig bricks. Should be from like Metalhead or something like that. Where was it? Metal Injection. Okay. All right. I gotta turn off the U and turn on the U. Wait, why is Google Earth still on? Google Earth, why are you still on? Chrome, you're supposed to be on. What is going on? Oh, somehow I clicked that. There we go. All right. Okay. So, Danzig has a mythical character of late. A caricature almost. We all went crazy when he was spotted with cat food, which, if it were anybody else, would not be headlines, but who doesn't love a good Danzig story? Here's another one to add to the lore of Glenn. So this guy was having an IM conversation with a dude who happens to be neighbors with Danzig. The neighbor describes the place and unusual incident that recently went down. Justin. Dude, Danzig lives next door to me in LA down the street, and he is the worst neighbor ever. Dude, I have Danzig stories. Me, no shit. Justin, just like one awesome one. Yes, dude. I can't believe you said Danzig. Me, you realize that this may be our number one topic at work? Dude. Okay. Here's the Danzig story. Me. We always say, what do you think Danzig is doing right now? Justin, Danzig lives in this shithole house near me in Los Feliz. About 100 yards down the street. His house is super run down, except he's got this crazy Jaguar in the backyard. Anyway, me, it's a place of evil. Justin. So he has this huge pile of bricks in his front yard, and the house looks like an evil Pixar house. So anyway, his neighbor was like, dude, Danzig, you're bringing property values down with these bricks in your yard. And Danzig was pissed. So anyway, back and forth with his neighbor, and finally one day I see Danzig outside his front yard, and he's hurling bricks into this dumpster and screaming, here I am, motherfucker, just cleaning up my fucking bricks, bitch. Just super loud to no one in particular for 2 hours. It was amazing. Like, I couldn't even think about other things because it was so amazing. Me, oh my god, this is amazing. Dude, it blew my mind. Just because it was Danzig, it's a really poor homeowner. So, this guy described Danzig's house, and then somebody went through, I think it was in the comments on this. Where are the comments gone? Oh no. There's comments where somebody like posted a picture of Glenn Danzig's house with the Jaguar and the pile of bricks from like a couple years ago. And I guess maybe it was in Google Earth. But Glenn Danzig. So years ago, I went to Portland to go see. I've seen Danzig several times, and he did a tour, but he didn't come to Seattle. The furthest north he made it was to Portland. So my friend Jesse and I, we hop in the car, we drive down to Portland, and we go to the show. And Gorgeous Frankenstein is playing. And Gorgeous Frankenstein was the guitarist for the Misfits, who Glenn Danzig was the original lyricist for. And Gorgeous Frankenstein, for a man who is like 60 years old, is built like a 25-year-old bodybuilder. Absolutely jacked to the tits. And he's got some sort of stripper wife who just did like stripper routines the entire time. It was awesome. Glenn comes out. The sound guy for Glenn should have been fired. That guy has no high range and cannot hear when there's like squelch and feedback on the microphone. So like Glenn would start singing a song like squeak squark, and he would just stop and just stare bullets at the sound guy, who's like, what? It's like, fix the squeak squarks, fix the goddamn microphone feedback. And it was glorious. I mean, I swear that same sound guy was there for at least 3 of the times I saw Danzig, and each time Glenn was about to pop a circuit. Like, Glenn, just fire the dude. He can't do his job anymore. He's blown out his eardrums. He can't hear it. He thinks it sounds amazing. But yeah, Danzig's a total clown. But I love his music. Oh my gosh. One of the best things ever is O'Keefe Music Foundation. I may have talked about them in the past. This is their YouTube channel. They're in Cincinnati, I believe. They're this like giant facility that has recording studios, practice spaces, whatever, and it's purely for kids. So these like anywhere from like elementary school kids through high school, they can record albums and make music videos and do all sorts of awesome stuff. They are one of the coolest nonprofits I've ever seen regarding the arts, and they have like an entire Danzig thing where they do Danzig covers for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. So it's amazing. I highly recommend it. I will put their channel here. They're amazing. And these are like, anywhere from like little kids to teenagers, from learning their instruments to being absolute shredders. Doesn't matter if they're piano, violin, guitar. They'll play classical music, jazz, ragtime, rock and roll, heavy metal, rap. It is one of the coolest nonprofits for the arts I've ever seen in my life. And they do all sorts. I mean, they got, here's a cover of Jump Around. and Fade Into You. They have so many, and one of my favorite Danzig song is Coldest Sun, and they do an amazing cover of Coldest Sun. I don't know where it is. It looks like the entire page has changed since the last time I came here. So Keep Music Foundation. How do I get to their regular Keep Music Foundation? Oh, here's Danzig. Okay. So, yeah, going down to Die is really good. Man, they do so many. I've seen like every single one. As you can see that the red bars are there. I've watched like all of these. They're so good. But I would love to do a Charity Tuesday for them if I was allowed to do a Charity Tuesday, for crying out loud. I wish every city in America had something like the O'Keefe Music Foundation. These guys are really, really cool. Really cool. I wish I had the opportunity as a kid to go to a place like this and, record music and make music videos and rock out and just get better at that stuff. I had to do all my guitar playing on my own because we couldn't afford lessons or anything. And now in Cincinnati, if you were a kid in Cincinnati, go to this place, learn to rock or jazz or whatever it is you do. They're really, 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 really good. So there's that tangent on Glenn Danzig. And here we are. Back to the chat. Daniel Crocker. Hey, Houston. What, if any, economic pressure tools do our NATO and or Asian, European, South American allies have to offer Ukraine or the U.S. tech sector to bend Trumpian policy off the cliffs of insanity? Threatening to sell the bonds is a huge one. Pulling companies out of the U.S. will be another. If BMW is like, we're going to close our South Carolina facilities if you don't help out Ukraine, that would be huge. Because it's going to be, at this point, it's going to be cheaper for Germany to ship the cars here and pay the tariff than it is to build them here at this point. So they may as well. I mean, the Japanese are already pulling out a lot of their factories because of that. Honda and Subaru and Nissan are all doing that. Yeah, I mean, just threatening to fire hundreds of thousands of Americans from your factories might be enough to sway opinion. Be like, look, we don't want to deal with you. We don't want to do business in Russia, so we don't want to do business with you. And yeah. BSAT Baman. Hey, HW, work sucks. What I miss? No spam. Oh, it's $2 for no spam. Where's my spam pencil? 2. No. 2. No. I need to set that thing back up again and get it all going. Yeah. Oh, what do you miss? Nah, not much. Just go to the Keith Music Foundation page and watch videos of kids rocking out. Teddy, there was a delay after they asked her every question. Oh, I'm in the top chat, not live chat. I might be missing things here. Dang it. I hate it when I do that. Go into live chat, Houston. Live chat. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Teddy, Kristi Noem was found to be reading from a teleprompter on latest MSNBC Meet the Press. She mispronounced every tool at our disposal, and she said U.S. law, not U.S. Wait. She said U.S. law, not U.S. law. Could they be using ChatGPT? U.S. law, not U.S. law? There was a delay after they asked her every question. Oh, maybe. I wonder if the question would go in and then ChatGPT would spit out an answer for her and she would just read it. Yeah, we're growing them dumb these days. Have you ever seen Question Hour in the UK? It is one of the most impressive things you might see. So one of the ministers, someone in charge of some part of the government, has to go in front of the entire parliament, in front of the opposition, and get asked rapid fire questions about anything and answer them. And they sit there and they've got binders full of information, right? Depending on whatever the department is or ministry. And they get asked a question, and the off the cuff answers these ministers are able to give is incredible. The amount of information that they've got stored up there and how quickly they can do it, or even access the actual data to like throw it back in their face, is one of the most mesmerizing things. I love watching Question Hour. It'll pop up on C-SPAN every once in a while. You'll get a chance to watch it, and it is phenomenal. Meet the Press should be like Question Hour. It should be, I'm going to try and trip you up. You are going to prove to me that you are truly qualified to be in this position. And it is really cool. Like, you can probably watch Question Hour vids on YouTube or something, and Americans cannot do it. Most of us cannot do it, especially in the Trump administration. Very few bureaucrats who make it up to those positions in government who are appointed are actually super qualified to be leading those agencies and departments. And I wish I would, if I were president, I would bring Question Hour back, or not back, but like to the U.S. I would send a minister to Congress and take rapid fire questions from the opposition and just answer as best you can and prove that they're qualified to be in that position. If they can't do it, fuck it, they're out, and I'll get another one. Can of Coolness, please don't die. You keep me sane. Also towards no spam, big fan. $10 towards no spam. 10. No. And wouldn't that spam can be a can of coolness? It's 30 years old. It's pretty cool. Okay. Polestar. Black Friday sales are mostly financed, like 90+%. That can't be good. People went into debt for Black Friday sales. They're bragging about how it was the most Black Friday cash ever. $11.8 billion spent on Black Friday. But then others were pointing out that something like 40% fewer products were sold, meaning it's mostly inflation. And then the stuff that was sold, a lot of it was buy now, pay later, Klarna type crap. And we're doomed. we're doomed. I didn't buy anything Black Friday. Last year I bought my new computer Black Friday. And I'm glad I did, because the RAM in this computer now costs more than the computer because of the chip shortage going on. So I hope you got your computers last year, you got your washing machines last year, you got your dishwashers last year, because the price of all this crap is getting so expensive because of the tariffs and because of chip shortages and because of every other piece of garbage crap that we got going on. Yeah. Teddy B, where is your audience? Are you being suppressed somehow? Also, treats for Monkey Butt. I don't know. We're at 147 on a Tuesday. That's on the lower end. I think a lot of people, because I sold off my GameStop, are pissed and will never come back. And that's what happens in life, right? You want that? Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. Sometimes I have a bigger audience. Sometimes I don't. I assume, I lost probably a lot of the GameStop people. I'll still talk GameStop. I'm playing the options right now. I'm just not going to invest in the shares and be an owner anymore. I will play that volatility. I made more money playing the volatility on GameStop than I ever did off the shares. So actually I lost money on the shares. And had to make it up playing MicroStrategy puts 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, I think, if you dropped your meat, monkey, how embarrassing. If I can get a good options run and get a retirement options run going, I mean, I'm up, over 10,000% right now. I'm cool with that. Sorry, 1,000%, 1,000%, up over 1,000%. And I might be up 22,000% tomorrow if I'm lucky. So, GDC $7,000 pro spam via Klarna. Here's the first $5. Also, my girl Sabrina Carpenter calling out White House for using her music in Gestapo commercial. Good for Sabrina. So 5. Yes. Yeah. The White House, I don't understand. Like, they keep using artists' music and things, and then they get a cease and desist and they're forced to stop because the artist is horrified that they're using their music. And I think all they can do is use like America the Beautiful and that Proud to Be an American song. It's like the only two artists that will let them use their stuff. Maybe something from Kid Rock, but no one wants to listen to that. Good for Sabrina Carpenter. Good for her. Good for her, monkey. Good for her. Okay. Wait a minute. I just realized that the timestamps disappeared again. Timestamp. Why did timestamps keep disappearing on these things? Okay. Here we are. Joe. The more debt, the better economy. That's why they lower rates, boost lending. Yeah, I mean, you gotta make sure that no one can afford anything anymore. So you jack the prices, you make lending really easy, and you just trap everyone, including the government, into a giant, massive interest-paying debt spiral, because that's healthy, right? In the meantime, we still don't get any benefits like, universal health care or free college tuition or all the cool stuff that other countries have. Monthly. There's a good interview I suggest watching by the Dairy of ACEO? The Dairy of a CEO? The Diary. Oh, damn, I can't read. I can't read in public school. The Diary of a CEO. Okay. On how they are developing AI. It's a little concerning. Well, AI is only truly useful for pre-2021 information. Because it wasn't so much bot and language model crap. So pre-2021, it's pretty accurate. Post-2021, it starts to have major problems because so much, like 90% of information being put on the internet right now is AI. So it's no longer scraping human information, it's scraping itself. So it's basically like eating its own tail at this point and then going crazy. We talked about this in that. It starts suffering what they're calling Habsburg syndrome, where it's incestuous, right? And so all the recessive genes of the evilness of the things you produce are getting compounded and amplified. So every 6 or 9 months, AI starts to go insane because it's just regurgitating itself, which was already terrible in the first place. And then they got to come out with a new model that's mostly pre-2021. And as it starts adding new information again, it goes crazy. And they got to come out with a new model, which is pre-2021. And so it's this constant battle against itself. And so AI just goes insane and it can't handle anymore. So you have to come out with a new version every 6 to 9 months. So I don't know how you're going to keep AI workable and sane for any prolonged period of time. I don't know how they're going to do it. Because the minute it touches the internet, well, now it's going crazy again. It's eating itself. And I don't know what the solution is. Like, OpenAI is projected to lose something like $200 billion over the next 5 years. And they're desperately trying to get everybody to become users. Like, every social media post, there's like a click, like, do you want AI to summarize this for you? Do you want to ask AI questions? The fucking like Notepad, they've got an AI helper now. It is so terrible because they bet so much money on this and they're realizing just how expensive it is to operate it and how little use it actually has in everyday life. I mean, there's that girl at Oklahoma who, she's a tennis player, and her psychology class asked her to like review an article and write about it, like summarize it. And she wrote this whole article, not even acknowledging anything in her paper, not even acknowledging anything in the article. She was just like, well, God said men are in charge and women are supposed to follow them. And the teacher like gave her a 0 because A, it was poorly written. It was written like a 5th grader, maybe even worse. And B, it didn't actually touch on any of the points in the article she was supposed to read. And now all these people are up in arms about it. I will give her credit though. I will give her credit because she didn't use AI to write that article. It was obviously that she wrote it and she's just dumb as shit. So good for her for not succumbing to using AI to write that article or that paper. But we're doomed, man. We're doomed. I don't know. Maybe someday there'll be an AI model of me and I'll just hit a button and go walk the dog, and then a version of me will just yak at you guys for hours on end. And that's That's what the future will be, baby. Joe Houston, I want to ask you about your favorite natural cleaving formation found on Earth. Like, are you a Grand Canyon kind of guy or something obscure and fancy? Oh, I love myself canyons of all kinds. Um, hmm. Grand Canyon's beautiful, absolutely mind blowing. I think my favorite canyon I've ever been in is Laurel Canyon, Oregon. Uh, Google Earth. Bam. We're gonna leave Japan here. Wait, Chrome. Chrome, turn off. There we go. Exit Street View. Nope. Come on, shift. No, zoom out. Oh my gosh. There we go. All right. So, gotta leave Japan. Bye bye Japan. Okay, we are definitely. Right, there we go. Get north oriented. Go across Pacific. Across Pacific, we're gonna go to Eastern Oregon. The only way to get to Laurel Canyon, it's in Eastern Oregon, but you have to go through Idaho to get there. It's on the Owyhee River out here. Should be in here. This Laurel Canyon. That's a stream there, tributary. Is that Laurel Canyon? Many basins. Owyhee. Oh, sorry, not Laurel. Leslie Gulch. That's, oh my gosh, Laurel Canyon. Laurel Canyon's down L.A. Leslie Gulch. This is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I mean, this is an okay picture of the rock formations. You got some oolites up here. These are sandstones that get laid down in freshwater areas, and then they get these little cavities that form from acidic stuff. I've got some really great pictures of Laurel Canyon when I've been there. It's got lots of really cool hoodoos. It's a really gorgeous spot. I think it's one of the beautiful spots I've ever been. And my pictures are better than these. There's some good ones. Here's a good one. Lots of hoodoos. I think it's really cool. I think it's just a really cool spot that no one really goes to. And I don't know. I was just kind of like just super majestic the entire time. That's the Owyhee itself. There's some hoodoos along the Owyhee. I think it's just really pretty. I don't know. For me, it's super picturesque. There's another spot that has a gold. It's sort of like a valley made out of eroded volcanic ash. I'm gonna have to type it in here. I don't know if it'll be. Of Rome. There we go. Yeah, Jordan Valley, Oregon. Bam. Oh yeah, right there. Pillars of Rome. This is a. You can see the color. It's all ash. This is all volcanic ash from 16 million years ago or something. Only got a couple pictures here, but it's really cool cliffs from this volcanic tuft that got eroded away. This is the stuff. I like this stuff. I think it's just really cool looking. I think it's just like, this is where you come film a Wild West TV show or movie or something. Not quite as big and dramatic as Grand Canyon is, or as like Hell's Canyon, which is also in Oregon. I think it's beautiful. Look, all these layers of rock and see it all eroded away. It's cool looking. And it's out here and no one ever visits it, because who the hell goes to Jordan Valley, which is like the least populated place in the lower 48. Oregon Outback has like 1 person per 50 square miles. It's way less populated than pretty much anywhere else in the lower 48. So no one's ever really out here. And I think there's a lot of really cool stuff out in Eastern Oregon. And we can go to Hell's Canyon here between Idaho and Oregon. This is the deepest canyon in the U.S., 7,000 feet deep in places. Let's see here. Let's see, we got some good cliffs in here. Oh, this is more pleasant. That's all right. I don't know who put a little old-timey thing on there, but there are some spots in Hell's Canyon where there's like class 5 rapids and stuff. That looks much more pleasant than anything else. That's very pleasant. But that's the deepest canyon in the U.S. is Hell's Canyon. Where is the deep spot? Let's see if we can find it here. Bam. A little further south. Okay. So, I mean, it's not quite as steep as that's the dam there. It's not quite as steep as, you know, Grand Canyon is, but 7,000 feet from top to bottom. That's pretty impressive. What other cool ones have I been to? I really really cool one is Wyoming. You go through Thermopolis here. So you go from Thermopolis to was this Riverton? I think down here, Riverton. So you go through this canyon here. What was it? Is it not Laramie Canyon? What do they call it? Oh shit! What's the name of the stupid thing? So the way this block is tilted is it used to be flat and then it got uplifted to one side. And so the weird thing is that the water goes this way. It goes downhill. But as you drive into the canyon, you feel like you're going uphill because the rocks get taller and taller and taller and taller. But this canyon's been cutting through those rocks for millions of years as it's been getting uplifted. It is, your brain cannot comprehend. You feel like you're driving up a mountain and the water is traveling the wrong way, right? Like the water should be going this way, but it's going this way. It's weird. It boggles the mind. And then you get here, and it's a beautiful canyon. It's got, big rocks and whatnot. But as you drive along, you'll see these really steep cliffs, and they'll be like a perfect cube just carved out of the cliff. And you look at the valley below, and that cube is like at the bottom of the valley. These huge rock falls that have gone through here. See if we can find more pictures of this. Doesn't really show it, but because you're like driving up, what feels like you're driving up into these mountains, it is one of the trippiest. Your brain can't figure out why the water's going the wrong way. Let's see here. Is this going to show us the cliffs? No, we did that one already. How about this one? I guess showing kind of the steepness of the cliffs. So you can look up at the cliffs, and you will literally see can't see the cubes. You'll see like things cleaved out of the cliffs, and then the rock it came from smashed down on the bottom. And what's also cool is that when you get, who cares about that? When you get Winter Canyon, that's what it's called. When you get here to where the dam is, the bottom layer of rocks, which I don't know if we'll be able to really see, there's like a train tunnel here, and the bottom layer of rocks, I was checking them out at where the train tunnel pops out, which is somewhere around here, is like 1.5 to 2 billion years old. It's really, really old. And in the road cut along here, and you can't really see the colors, there's these bands of like crazy pinks and blues and blacks, and I have no idea what the rocks are that they're sedimentary of some kind, most of them, and they're just beautiful. Yeah, it's neat. It's a neat place. So Winter Canyon. So from Thermopolis, there's some really cool hot springs in Thermopolis and dinosaur bones and all sorts of stuff found there. And you go down to Riverton, and I have an opal claim in this area out here, where black opal can be found. Other cool canyons, Monkey? That's enough for now. I don't know. We'll call it on that one. Okay. Michael Joe 2UO. Hey, Big H. They moved GTA 6 again. We asked Magic 8 Ball if we'll have MOAS by then. Will we have MOAS before Grand Theft Auto? Just straight up, no. Oh, it just turned. Come on. There it is. No. So, there's your answer. Oh well. I rarely have it be that definitive, but no. No, monkey. Michael 2-0. Oh, did that one. Polestar. I swear he's literally done the 8-ball for the exact question before. And I think it said not likely before. Now it's just straight up no. J-Dog says go Seahawks. Polestar smashed the 8-ball at this point. Fabrizio says plop. Seagill. Had to tone down my option trading because I'm sleeping through most of the trading day. Night has its perks, but trading while half asleep doesn't really help my portfolio grow. You're talking to somebody who's a straight up night owl. Like, I think my trading would be so much better if I lived in Europe, because then I'd be awake for the entire trading day. But out here in the West Coast, it's 6:30 in the morning, man. I'm not up at 6:30 in the morning. I'm an astronomer. I'm designed to be the guy who pokes the fire. I got majored in astronomy because there were no classes before noon. I love sleeping in. So what I do is I actually do kind of wake up a couple of times and like glance, go, but I will also set like a target price for a limit order for what I think is going to happen that day. And if it hits it, cool. If I miss the peak because I sold too early, whatever, I still made my profit, and I kind of go from there. There are times like when, June of 2024, when the volatility was insane, where I forced myself to get up that early. If it's swinging $20, $30, $50 a day, I will wake up at 6:30. I will do that trading. But if it's like 60 cents, $1, I'll just set a target price and then let it do its thing, and then, before close, reset my options. So that's what I do. And Rand's Razzie Awards has banged the like button and thrown out some stickers there. And and Rand's Razzie Award, Teddy B Motorhead is awesome. The like answer is Velvet Underground. Well, Velvet Underground definitely influenced the Dandy Warhols, as I was talking about earlier. Danny Moat, say Houston had birthday. Hilo was amazing, except we were there when a series of bad fires hit the town. Really? Bad fires hit Hilo? I did not read about that at all. Where's my Hilo, Hawaii fires? Large fire burns down buildings in Hilo. What? Raises 4 buildings in downtown Hilo. How come no one told me about this? Oh, there's some of the older buildings here. Turn off the Google Earth. Turn on the Chrome. There we go. Okay, so that is big fire. Goodness gracious. Which buildings are these? All right, these are a little uphill. It's a massage parlor. Okay. Where the Lumi Lumi place was. This is, Hiley Street. Okay, it's Hiley Street. Dang, son. These are old buildings, too. These are probably 100 years old or close to it. It's 100 block of Keave and 100 block of Hiley Street. Fire destroyed buildings early Sunday morning on Kino Ole and Hiley Streets. And fire caused police to close multiple streets in the area. Fire department, utility crews, blah, blah, blah. Firefighters. Okay, fire occurred. Police said arriving responders found 4 buildings fully engulfed in flames. The destroyed structures, which include historic Agu building at the corner of Kino Ole and Hiley Street, are zone mixed use with business downstairs, apartments upstairs. Police and fire personnel immediately began efforts to evacuate the affected buildings as well as nearby residences. No fatalities or injuries. That's good. I don't know if it was that building. I had a friend that lived in an apartment above a place right by there back in college. Sunday's fire occurred a day after an early morning fire killed 2 people and displaced 20 others at the Poi Factory apartments. This sounds like arson to me. Having large buildings like that 2 days in a row go up, that sounds like arson. Let's see here. Christina Reed owned Petrograph Press, which was housed in the basement of the GU building until 2021, whose affiliated business, Basically Books, celebrates its 40th anniversary Saturday, described it as shocking to wake up to the news, the fire taking down the GU building, where the book publishing operation owned by Reed and her late husband, David Reed, thrived for 59 years. So many memories, blah, blah, blah. According to police, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. My guess is arson. Power lines were down as a precautionary measure. Damn, dude. I would have thought one of my friends would have sent me a link to this. Huh. Dang. Dang. Well, heck. Man. That's crazy. Polestar, they make like $50 million per employee based on how things are currently run. I think they're doing fine, and new stream box VR headset will do huge numbers. What are you talking about, Polestar? I don't see your previous comment. Isn't Nvidia? Is that you're talking about Nvidia? Because they have something crazy. Well, I guess their value is that much or something. Or are we talking about Steam? Maybe? I don't know. Did Bass headed to Maui on the next vacation recommendations? I've only been to Maui once. I've my friends Carrie and Asa were living in Lanai when I went there, and then they moved to Maui itself, and they opened up a place called Garden Sushi in Kihei, and then they had a ramen place that got destroyed in the fires there a couple of years ago, and I think their house got destroyed too, so they made like a food truck for their ramen business. Outside of that, I got a really gnarly cold when I was there, and I spent a lot of the time just sleeping on the beach. Not really. I don't know. Like, I know I went out to eat at places. The only meal I really truly remember was when I went to Lanai and Kaori and Asa grilled steaks and made sushi, and it was delicious. They used to own a sushi place here on the island, and it's a place called Shima that was phenomenal. So the sushi place was awesome, and then they had Shima Express where I could go get Japanese curry for like $5 with a pork cutlet. Oh, so good. But then Kaori's mom got really ill, and so they sold off the business, sold off their house, and they were moving back to Japan to go take care of her. And on the flight to Japan, her mom died. So when they landed, she had passed away, and they're like, "Shit, we just sold everything. We got nothing. What do we do?" And so Asa got a job as the executive chef for Nobu at the Four Seasons on Lanai. And so like, well, I guess we're going to go run Nobu. So they moved to Lanai, and they were there for a couple of years before he got the capital together to open up his own place. So if you happen to cross Kaori and Asa's a ramen truck, hit them up. Otherwise, I ate at one restaurant with hotels, and I gave a $150 tab. I gave a $50 tip to the server on the $150 tab, and then the server ran my card for $500. And believe me, I think they thought I was like, gonna be out of there the next day and not notice. I went back to that restaurant and I raised holy hell. I was like, I tipped this dude fucking 33%, and they gave themselves a $350 tip. No. And so they fired the guy, and he wanted to kick my ass or whatever. I was like, bring it, brother. But yeah, so that happened. Man, I was like sick as a dog, though. I was there for 10 days over New Year's, and I was sick for like 6 of those days. Did a really nice drive around the island. Like, South End Island, if it's storming, don't go because it's dirt road and your car will be in mud stuck and awesome. But the weather was great. Went to Hana. Went to some restaurant in Hana. Let's see if I can find it. I can't remember the name of it. It was pretty good. It was like up the hill, surrounded by a big grassy field. Let's see here. Bam. Boom. Google Earth. Somewhere up here. Maybe Hana Ranch Restaurant? No, that's in the middle of a field. Seriously, it was like a building in a field, and you kind of drive up this driveway to get to it. Maybe, no, that's the main road, so it's going to be on this side of it. I think it's main road, you go up to the restaurant, and I cannot the life of me. Maybe down here? Anyway, you go up this like long driveway around the lawn. We saw this guy in like jean shorts, sleeveless tee, full on mustache, smoking a cigarette. And we joked, my friend Morgan and I would joke that that dude's name must be Randy because he just looked like a Randy. And we like park the car and we walk in and we put our name down, and then the dude comes in, you know, mustache, sleeveless shirt, and the lady's like, Randy, party for four? We're both like, oh, that was totally his name. What was that? What was that restaurant? Seriously, we drove up like a driveway. Maybe it was like here and the restaurant was up there. I don't remember. Crap. But it was really tasty. I remember the restaurant being tasty and like highly recommended. I don't remember what the restaurant was called in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's a super windy road. You can get all pukey if you have like a bunch of kids in the back. You drive around the south side. It is not paved. It is full on, like, it's graded mostly, but full on dirt road. If it's storming and raining, you will fall in the ocean and die. It is absolutely gorgeous, though. There's some really cool vistas along here. And then you pop up, you go a little bit higher, and you pop out somewhere like by where Oprah lives. Oprah has some ranch, I guess, in this area. And so we made it through. Apparently, the next day it was all closed off because Oprah was in town and Michelle Obama was like visiting her. So they closed off the roads and stuff. So we wouldn't have made it through. We would have had to gone back the other way. Oprah's house is somewhere up here. And while we were there, Oprah's house was here and Michelle Obama was in town. And then Jeff Bezos's giant yacht was like anchored out here. One of the really cool things you can do, because wintertime, this is where all the humpback whales are playing around, and they're just out here like, I don't know if they're like fucking or whatever they're doing, but all the humpback whales are out here. So if you go to like one of the beaches, so here in Kihei, there's like beach 1, 2, 3, whatever, but you can go to the beaches and you can go out and there'll be these little buoys where people can like tie up sailboats and stuff, and you swim out to the buoy and you just hold your breath really tight and pull yourself down maybe 20 feet and just sit there for 30 seconds while you hold your breath, and you'll hear all the whales singing everywhere. That was really cool. I highly recommend that. And you'll see them jumping around and stuff when you drive along the coastal roads. But just listening to them like talk to each other was really cool. You have to get down, about 20 feet or so to start hearing them. That was neat. I really wish I had like been able to not be sick those like first 5-6 days I was there, because there's a lot of things I wanted to do. You can go up to North Shore and go to Jaws, and if there's big storms up in the Gulf of Alaska, you'll watch the big wave competitions and stuff that happen out there. That's cool. There's I don't know what it's like to get through here to like get up to like Kaanapali, but Lahaina is where all the fires were. It's pretty beautiful drive along here. It's like really nice sandy beaches, but all the waves are going to be on the north side and the east side if you're into surfing. There's not much that happens in here. It's pretty calm through here, but the diving's really good, snorkeling, whatnot. I don't know, chicks and thongs, things like that. Good times to be had. I wish I would spent more time. My good friend who lived on Maui, who I stayed with, she was one of the first people to die from COVID in Hawaii back in April of 2020. And so now I don't have a place to stay, but I mean, I might be able to stay with Asa and Kaori, but that was kind of a bummer. She was, a lifelong smoker and had heart trouble and whatnot, and COVID hit her, and that was it. Real bummer. She was a nice lady, though. Brandon Wells asking if heard anything about BBYQ. No, not beyond what we talked about yesterday. Monotonous posts thinking that the BBYQ bonds are now under the newer BBY. Joe says gaming is young. You'll see it change a lot in the coming decade. Well, one of the things about gaming is that Gen Alpha doesn't play on computers and they don't play on consoles. So as you know, Generation Z, millennials, uh, X get older, then those folks will start dying, and gaming consoles might become a thing of the past. Because what kids do is they download Roblox onto their mom's phone and they play Roblox. And that's all they do. All they do is play Roblox. They don't do anything else. And they're more committed to a single game than they are to like a platform. And so Gen Alpha, something like 97% of Gen Alpha does not play a game on a computer or on a console, that they're playing on their phone. And that, I think, is going to be the big change. And so a lot of traditional flagship game companies are going to discover that they're going to spend $200 million releasing a Call of Duty, and eventually no one's going to be buying it because, you know, the biggest downloaded game of all time is a game built inside Roblox by a 16-year-old that has 20 million active users a day on it. It's free. So what are you going to do at that point? I don't know. The gaming culture is going to change big time. GDC, they announced mascots for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Team Sprinkles versus Team Swirls. Who you got? Sprinkles, protein, strawberry, cookies and cream, and cherry swirls, chocolate chip, cookie dough, wild berry, and hot fudge sundae. Oh shoot, I gotta get going. I'm late. Talking too much about Maui. I will see you folks tomorrow. You guys have a great day. I am running really late and it's dark outside, so bad.